to another one of our Firewire board reviews. This time we've got another brand new board that's due out shortly. Slightly different this model. Pretty much a first for Firewire. We've got ourselves a mid-range board with plenty of float using some fairly new technology for Firewire. This is called the Advance. The name kind of implies the guy who designed the shape, who is basically Tarsborough's dad. He's designed this shape, rides it himself. The idea is the board's got loads of flotation all the way through, nicely pulled in tail, so it's still alright for manoeuvres, but the emphasis of this board is that catching waves dead easy and obviously being lots of fun to surf. It's basically going to be catching waves like a long board but riding like a much smaller board. It's using the rapid fire technology from Firewire, which is the bamboo upper deck. There's no parabolic rail on this board. What we have in this style is bamboo top layer, and underneath I've got a single carbon rod inserted actually in the foam of the board. Obviously a bit of bamboo up the front of the nose as well, probably more aesthetical up there, but the combination of the carbon rod in either rail and the bamboo top deck is basically giving the board slightly different flex characteristics to your standard parabolic Firewire. The differences are that the board's going to be slightly more flexible. It's going to be more flexible, more forgiving. So when we get into this kind of size board where we've got good length and good thickness, it's still allowing the board to be responsive in the water. More responsive than it would be if it had parabolic rails. So brand new board, brand new shape, quite interesting, quite difficult to see, but there is an indented or chimed rail on the actual inside rail of the board underneath, and that's just going to help wave holding as you're tracking along the wave face, and probably loosen the board up a little bit from rail to rail as well. Some quite interesting concaves going through the underneath as well. Not sure if you can see, but a real deep V, two big channels running through the fins here, a raised section through here, really deep concave, fairly flat up in the midsection, and then that concave starting a good foot or so in front of the fins. And what that's going to allow the board to do is pivot and rock off that central high point and make the board nice and manoeuvrable. When you've got a board of this length and width, this type of bottom contour is going to allow it to rock from rail to rail, so it's going to loosen the board up. It's nice and pulled in with the tail. It's got good width, but the thinness of this tail and the sharpness of the rails are going to allow the board to still be laid over on a rail, give it lots of turn, lots of bite. So in bigger surf, it's still going to perform quite well. In smaller surf, you know, providing your back foot's jammed over the back of the board, it's going to be nice and manoeuvrable. So it's basically suitable for a lot of different guys. This first time surfboard in the bigger sizes, definitely. Possibly a guy who rides a longboard wants to come down to something more manoeuvrable. Maybe for a hollow beach break, or maybe just for someone who wants to be catching heaps of waves. Very interesting, different direction for Firewire this, but you know, there is a niche out there for this style of board, and I think looks-wise it's absolutely stunning. I actually prefer the look of this to many of the other boards that are out at the minute. But if you're after something that's decent size, decent width, just catching heaps of waves but still flexible, then this is what we recommend. Perfect for summer surf when it's weak and small, or just purely for paddling out and catching more waves. This is the Advance from Firewire. Thank you.